Prime Minister Narendra Modi to join the divine celebrations of Durga Puja in West Bengal through video conferencing and will extend his greetings to everyone. Says Durga Puja is an auspicious occasion which celebrates the victory of good over evil. Indigenous-built anti-submarine warfare ASW Sleeth corvette INS Kavaratti commissioned into the Indian Navy at Visakhapatnam. In poll-bound Bihar, BJP to release its manifesto today. Senior BJP leaders to address election rallies. RJD and JDU also campaign in full force. Meanwhile, voting for 8 seats of Bihar Legislative Council underway. Sixth Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council lay polls has begun. This is the first democratic exercise post-granting of Union Territory status to the region last year. The voters are using EVMs for the first time in the council polls. The Reserve Bank of India is scheduled to conduct the first ever open market operation purchase of state development loans for 10,000 crore rupees. The move will help state governments to borrow money from RBI on an interest rate decided via auction process. In the fight against COVID-19 gathers momentum as the recovery rate further improves to 89.20%, while the fatality rate stands at 1.51%. Continues to report one of the lowest cases per million population globally, also has one of the lowest COVID-19 mortality. Testament of the positive results of the center-led strategies of 5 T's effectively being implemented by states and union territories. Ahead of the US presidential election 2020 final debate, US Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe says Russia and Iran have obtained voter data in election interference campaign. The US goes to polls on the 3rd of November. Opinion polls predict a close contest in swing states such as Florida, North Carolina and Pennsylvania. And Real Madrid stunned by Shakhtar Donetsk in the Champions League opener. Manchester City fight back to beat Porto, while Liverpool and Bayern Munich also start with a win. Good morning. Welcome to English News. I am Anil Thomas. Now for the stories in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to virtually inaugurate the Durga Puja pandals today. Extending Durga Puja greetings to the people of West Bengal, Prime Minister Modi tweeted, and I quote, "Sisters and brothers of West Bengal, on the auspicious day of Ma Durga Puja's Mahashashti, I would join the divine celebrations today via video conferencing and shall also be extending my greetings to everyone. Do join the program live." Prime Minister Modi further added, Durga Puja is an auspicious occasion which celebrates the victory of good over evil. We pray to Ma Durga to bless us with strength, happiness and good health. Well, for more inputs on that particular story, Anubrito, our correspondent, joining us this morning. Anubrito, good morning. Anubrito, give us a sense of this particular celebrations there, the Durga Puja celebrations in the pandals in Kolkata, and also the expectations from the Prime Minister as he interacts with the people as they begin the celebrations of Durga Puja.
Yeah, Durga Puja, as you know, is one of the most important events in the Bengali festive calendar. And today is Mahashashti, that is the opening of the Durga Puja. On this day, Devi Durga comes to her father's home in the mortal world here, and he is coming to his father's home. He is treated with a ganza, with a festive spirit and splendor, everything. This time, this Durga Puja, caught in a jinx rather, because of this abnormal situation, COVID pandemic situation is there, and this positive rate, this COVID here in West Bengal is increasing at a faster minister place. Yet instead of all these things, as the issue entered into the court battle and the court issued an injunction and said all the pandals will be treated as a containment zone. So they have said that 10 meter mark to be made as a containment zone for the big Durga Pujas and 5 meter mark for the small Durga Puja pandals. And that has been done here. And today, as we know, the Prime Minister will greet the people who are in Bengal live. So it is a momentous occasion. This thing never happened, and particularly where at EZCC, where we are standing, that is the cultural center, and it is run by the cultural department of the government of India, and it is an autonomous center here. BJP has organized Durga Puja. This is for the first time in Bengal any political party is organizing Durga Puja, and that we find here that the BJP has organized, and the Prime Minister will open this Durga Puja and offer greetings to the people here in Bengal. It's not
Well, these are live visuals there from Bihar, where the election manifesto for the BJP party will be released. Those visuals there coming up live. We'll cut across live to that particular event there from Bihar, where Bihar goes to polls on the 28th, and the election manifesto being released by senior leader of the BJP there, Nirmala Sitharaman, releasing the election manifesto in Bihar. The election manifesto on the cover very clearly talking about one goal, 11 commitments that BJP has towards the people of Bihar, and this particular election manifesto coming exactly 96 hours before the campaigning for the first phase of Bihar election ends, and senior leader Nirmala Sitharaman there releasing the manifesto in Patna.
मित्रों, कुछ ही क्षणों में आपके पास यह मैनिफेस्टो मिल भी जाएगा। अभी हम आग्रह करेंगे शिवानंद जी से इस मैनिफेस्टो का वीडियो प्रस्तुत करें। शिवानंद जी।
Well, live visuals of the election manifesto by the BJP party being launched there in Patna by senior leader of the BJP and Union Finance Minister there, Nirmala Sitharaman, launching the election manifesto. Bihar goes to polls, as we all know, in 3 phases. The first phase of polling takes place on the 28th of this month, the second phase on November 3rd, followed by the last phase of polling on November 7th. The counting of votes will take place on the 10th of November. A keenly watched election, considering this is the first state election that takes place after COVID pandemic has hit the world. So it will be keenly watched, and all guidelines being followed, especially when it comes to conducting elections by the Election Commission. We'll get you more updates on that particular story and the election manifesto that's released in Patna. But moving on now. The last of the 4 indigenously built anti-submarine warfare sleeth corvettes INS Kavaratti under Project 28 was commissioned today into the Indian Navy by General Naravane at the Naval Dockyard in Visakhapatnam. Touted as a potent sleeth ASW corvette, Kavaratti is indigenously designed by the Directorate of Naval Design and built by Garden Reach shipbuilders. Engineers have portrayed the growing capability of the Indian Navy, GRSE, and the nation in becoming self-reliant through indigenization, and thus accentuating our national objective of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The ship has been commissioned as a combat-ready platform, as the ship has completed sea trials on all the systems fitted on board. A 5-member interministerial team led by Joint Secretary in the Union Home Ministry, Praveen Vashisht, is on a 3-day visit to Telangana for the on-the-spot assessment of damages in rain-ravaged state. Incessant rains lashed several parts of the state. Hyderabad witnessed the highest rainfall in the last 100 years. The centre also announced 4 lakh rupees ex gratia to the kin of each who died due to rains and related incidents in the state. A compensation of 2 lakh will be given to those who suffered permanent disability and 12,700 for the injured. The families that lost the household things will be given 3,800 each. The centre will extend assistance after receiving reports of crop damages. Well, for more on this story, Suprashanti, our correspondent, joining us this morning there from Hyderabad. Suprashanti, good morning. Looking at the way this particular team is expected to come to Hyderabad, which are the areas they are likely to visit, and how are they coordinating with the state government there?
Yeah, a 5-member central team is expected to arrive in Hyderabad by this evening to assess the damages that occurred to various sectors following heavy rains and floods. The team is being led by Joint Secretary in the Central Ministry of Home Affairs, Mr. Praveen Vasist, and it will constitute 4 senior officials from Ministries of Agriculture, Roads and Buildings, Water Resources and Environment. This team is expected to visit some areas, some rain-affected areas in Hyderabad and Secunderabad, and also some places on the outskirts of Hyderabad. The state government is yet to come out with full details regarding the locations that will be visited by this team. It is yet to come out with the details, but it is understood that it will visit some some areas which have received major damages because of these rains.
Okay.
As part of the visit, this team will also meet CS Somesh Kumar, Government Chief Secretary Somesh Kumar, and also senior officials from different state departments. During this meeting, the state government will explain the extent of damage that occurred because of these heavy rains and floods. Especially it will explain how the damage was so huge in agriculture sector. Though the government has not yet released the final figures regarding the losses in agriculture sector, but it is understood that standing crops in more than 10 lakh acres were affected because of these rains, and the farmers suffered huge losses because of this.
Okay.
So during this meeting, all the losses that
Okay, Suprashanti, also give us a quick update on the weather forecast for the next few days, especially the next 48 hours, and how are the water bodies there? You know, most of them were overflowing is what we have read from reports here, but what's the sense on ground zero?
Yeah, the situation on the weather front is pretty good here. People are very happy because there are no rains since yesterday morning.
Okay.
There was a light to moderate rain in Hyderabad yesterday morning before 7 a.m. and in some parts of the state also, in some districts. But after that, absolutely there are no rains. So people are very happy and they are heaving a sigh of relief.
Okay.
And added to this, Hyderabad Met Office has forecast that there won't be any heavy rains in the next 5 days.
Okay, so good news.
As low pressure in the Bay of Bengal is moving towards West Bengal, so I think the impact of the low pressure is coming down on the state. But the Met Office has said that light to moderate rains may likely to occur in some areas, including Hyderabad. So the government is all fully equipped to deal with any untoward situation, as the relief operations are still going on in in all rain affected areas. Still there are some areas which are still waterlogged.
Okay, we'll leave it there. But the big positive that, as you said, no rains expected for the next 4 to 5 days, and the weather standing good, especially there since last evening. So good news there, and thank you and appreciate your joining us, Suprashanti, with those updates there, and also with regards to the 5-member ministerial team that's going to visit, interministerial central team that is going to visit Telangana to take stock of the situation there. Due to the flood there, especially in the cities like Hyderabad, where it has been unprecedented. In the last 100 years, these kind of floods have not been seen. Well, now moving to Leh, where voting is underway for the 26 seats of the Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council, Leh, with 94 candidates in the fray. This is the first democratic exercise post-granting of Union Territory status to the region last year, an electorate of 89,776. that include 45,025 women, are exercising their franchise in 294 polling stations spread over 26 constituencies across Leh district to seal the fate of 94 candidates. These include 26 each of the BJP and the Congress. Necessary measures are being taken to prevent the spread of COVID-19. Voting takes place till 4 p.m. Besides Congress and BJP, the Aam Aadmi Party, that's AAP, is also trying its luck for the first time by fielding 19 candidates, while the remaining 23 are independent contestants. Well, Ramesh Chandra now joins us with more inputs on that particular story. Ramesh, good morning. This is the first time that EVMs have been used. How have the people welcomed it, or do they face some kind of problems, especially using the EVMs there?
But this is first time EVMs are being used in Leh Hill Council elections.
Yes, true.
And this is sixth election that is going on right now today. And EVMs are used in previous general elections. Now this is a further intensified election here because local sentiments are issued. Involved here in this election. So there was so far, excepting one instance of small technical snag, there was no issue with EVM so far. And just now I spoke to district election officer. He said everything is going smooth and polling percentage is
also
picking up.
Also, Ramesh, a quick word on, considering the weather conditions there in the month of October. We are in the third week of October. But having said that, how have the people responded? Have they come out in large numbers, considering there are 26 seats there and close to 94 candidates in the fray?
Yeah, right now from the information we are receiving, it is from town peripheral areas, and it is picking up as day is progressing. Now, right now I am standing at Chushot Yokma, which is one of the biggest polling station in Leh area, where 9 candidates, including 3 major political parties and 6 independent candidates are contesting here, and you can guess the intense fight here. So the polling is also proportionately at bigger, higher side. Right now, 200 votes are polled here out of 1,000 votes. That's what the returning officer told us.
So voting picking up pace there in that particular council elections there in the Ladakh region. Thank you and appreciate your joining us with those inputs there from the Union Territory of Leh. Well, moving on, India continues to perform exceptionally well in its fight against COVID-19. India has leaped across several significant milestones in its fight against COVID. Let's now take a look at the country's latest COVID-19 data by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. India continues to report a trend of steadily declining active cases and improving recovered cases of COVID-19. The active cases are less than 8 lakh for the 6th consecutive day today and stand at 7,15,812. The active cases now comprise just 9.29% of the total positive cases of the country. The declining trend of the active cases is complemented by the unbroken rising number of recovered cases. The total recovered cases further improved to 68,74,518. The national recovery rate has also risen to 89.20%. If you look at the last 24 hours, the number of patients that have recovered or have been discharged from the hospitals, the number stands at 79,415. The fatality rate in India currently stands at 1.51%. As India continues to fight its battle with COVID-19, testing in India has also ramped up. According to the Indian Council of Medical Research, 14,69,984 samples were tested on October 21st. With this, the total number of samples that have been tested to date, that's October 21st, stands at 9,86,70,363. On the global scale, India continues to report one of the lowest cases per million population. The Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has shared a bar graphical presentation showing the comparative study. The Health Ministry also reported that India is the country with the lowest COVID-19 mortality, testament of the positive results of the center-led strategies of test, track, trace, treat technology effectively being implemented by the states and union territories. The Reserve Bank of India will be conducting open market operations in state development loans today. The central bank will keep 10,000 crore rupees to buy SDLs in what is seen as a first ever such operation in the country. The SDLs are defined as securities which are issued by states to manage their own finances. In a release, the RBI said that SDL will be purchased through a multi-security auction. Well, now let's once again head back to Patna, where the election manifesto of the BJP was released a short while ago. Let's cut across live, where senior BJP leader Nirmala Sitharaman is speaking.
पहले रह चुके हैं और बहुत एक्सपीरियंस सीनियर लीडर्स के साथ आज बिहार के चुनाव के संदर्भ में संकल्प पत्र रिलीज करने के इस शुभ अवसर पर भाग लेने में मैं गर्व महसूस करती हूँ, क्योंकि बिहार ऐसे प्रदेश है जिसमें हर नागरिक पॉलिटिकली बहुत ही सेंसिटिव है और इन्फॉर्म्ड भी है। उनको पूरे विषय समझ में आता है और विश्लेषण करते हैं और उनको ऐसे संकल्प पत्र रिलीज करने में से उनका भरोसा खमाना, इफ आई कैन यूज दैट वर्ड, टू गेट देयर भरोसा इतना आसान नहीं है। मगर भरोसा को आधार रखते हुए एक संकल्प पत्र भारतीय जनता पार्टी रिलीज कर पा रही है, इसीलिए रिलीज कर पा रही है कि हर एक जो संकल्प पत्र के द्वारा दिया गया प्रॉमिस को हमने पूरे करवाए। वी फुलफिल आवर प्रॉमिस। भारत देश में ऐसे एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी अगर है जो उनके संकल्प पत्र के ऊपर अगर कोई भी प्रश्न पूछताछ करेगा तो भरोसा के साथ जवाब दे सकते हैं, ऐसे एक पार्टी है तो वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी। और इस भरोसा को प्रिंसिपल और आधार फाउंडेशन रखते हुए हम संकल्प पत्र आज रिलीज कर रहे हैं, तो इसमें क्या बात है? बात यही है कि हमें कॉन्फिडेंस है, हमारे अपने आप के ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस है कि हम डिलीवर कर पाएंगे, प्रॉमिस को फुलफिल कर पाएंगे। उसके लिए उदाहरण एक नहीं, दो नहीं, बहुत सारे उदाहरण हम दिला सकते हैं। जैसे बोला गया कि प्रधानमंत्री जी पिछले 6 साल में गरीब के लिए कितने कार्यक्रम प्रॉमिस किए वो सब इंप्लीमेंट कर दिखाया। चाहे वो हर गांव तक बिजली हो, चाहे वो गरीब महिला के लिए गैस सिलेंडर का सप्लाई हो, रसोई का गैस का, और हर भारतीय नागरिक को फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन के नाम पर बैंक अकाउंट दिलवाना हो। ये सब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने प्रॉमिस करके उसको इंप्लीमेंट भी कर दिखाया।
Well, the Bharatiya Janata Party, they're clearly releasing its manifesto for the upcoming Bihar elections. The election manifesto document was unveiled by Union Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. It also had many senior leaders from the BJP, Bhupendra Yadav, Nityanand Rai, Ashwini Chaubey there on the stage while this manifesto was released. And this manifesto comes exactly a day before Prime Minister makes his first or hits the election campaign trail in Bihar. Well, shifting focus now to the US presidential election and the final debates. The stage is set for the final presidential debate in Nashville today before the November 3rd polls. US President Donald Trump and Democratic presidential candidate Joe Biden will face off for the last time before the November 3rd election. A new feature has been added to the Presidential Debate Commission for this particular debate. The final debate will feature a mute button to allow candidates to speak uninterruptedly. Also, candidates will be given uninterrupted 2 minutes to answer to the moderator's question at the beginning of each of the 15-minute segments of the debate. This decision was taken in a bid to avoid disruptions that happened in the first presidential debate on the 30th of September. Trump and Biden were supposed to go head-to-head in 3 presidential debates, but today's debate will now be the second and final meeting between the pair before the elections. This particular debate will be live on Indian time early in the morning at 6:30 a.m. and will last for 90 minutes. The second presidential debate planned on the October 15th could not take place after it was announced that the event would be held virtually, and President Trump refused to be part to it. Well, that's all we have time for in this edition of news. But remember, we've got a campaign that's running for you, Mask Up India. So do not forget, as you step out of your house, to wear your mask and at all times maintain social distancing or physical distancing while you are in public places or using public transport. That's it from me. Thanks for watching.